Welcome. My name is Dawn Macary with the Western Connecticut Area Agency on Aging, and we have a new show entitled Working Together with the Western Connecticut Area Agency on Aging. The agency serves 41 towns of Western Connecticut, and we offer free, unbiased information to individuals on Medicare and persons with disabilities on Medicare regarding Medicare insurance, Medicare Part D, Medicaid, new to Medicare, the respite care program, the home care program, money follows the person, assistance filling out applications, senior Medicare patrol, which is Medicare fraud, and a variety of other programs to help keep individuals independent and at home. And today I'm going to be talking with Carla Gilbode, Director of the Home Care Program. Welcome, Carla.
Hi, Dawn. How are you?
Good, good. Before we get started, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I started with the agency in 2008. I was a care manager in the Connecticut Alzheimer's Respite Care Program.
Okay.
And after that, I became the director of the Home Care Program for Elders in 2013, and here we are.
Here you are, huh?
Here we are, yes.
I know, that's a pretty big position. Do you have a large staff there?
I do. I have about 25 staff,
25
consisting
staff.
of care managers and supervisors and assistant staff.
Oh, okay, very good. Can you, before we get started, how is this home care program funded?
Sure. So the Connecticut Home Care Program for Elders is funded both by state and federal dollars.
Okay.
Most of our clients utilize Medicaid as an insurance coverage group.
Okay, all right, good. So what is the home care program for those of you, especially that don't know that much about it, including myself? So this is going to be very interesting.
The Home Care Program for Elders was designed to provide in-home services, an array of services to meet the needs of individuals who are at risk for nursing home placement.
Okay, so what were those, like, what are you screening the client for,
Sure.
the individual for?
Well, if a client needs assistance with specific activities such as bathing or dressing, meal preparation, taking medications, dressing, toileting, mobility, those were all types of things that we would look at when identifying needs for a client. And based off of those needs, we could work with the family and the client themselves to develop a care plan of services to help meet those needs in the home.
Okay, so if someone wants to get on the home care program, what's their first contact? If they feel, you know, they have their father is at home and they need some help for their dad, what's the first step that they take?
Well, to be honest, most of our referrals actually come from other social workers.
Oh, okay.
So that would be from somebody in a skilled nursing facility. Maybe somebody's currently undergoing rehab services in a facility, a hospital, somebody on a different program that maybe the Agency on Aging offers. They can make a referral to the home care program. But if somebody were not connected with a social worker, they could absolutely just call our agency and we could connect them to the right resources.
Okay, and that number should be flashing at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, but so do they have to have one of those skilled nursing services to be eligible for the home care program?
They don't have to have a current service in place. I mean, certainly it's helpful.
Yeah.
But we would help them identify that as a need. We would, you know, in our screening process, our assessment process, we would do a home visit and we could help them identify that need. Skilled nursing services, home health aides, any of the therapies, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, those are all services that we could provide in addition to many other types of services.
That's quite a bit. Like somebody that would have hip surgery, could they could use your services?
Now we want to be conscious of you know, whether or not they have Medicare as a coverage group, and we would help supplement that after Medicare is no longer an option for them.
Okay, yeah, which brings me to, before I go on, is there an age limit to this program?
There is. In order to qualify for the program, you have to be 65 or older and a Connecticut resident, and you have to meet financial and functional eligibility criteria.
Okay, all right, before they can come. What is the financial, approximately?
Well, it changes every year, so approximately for asset criteria, somebody with around $36,000 in cash assets.
This is for a single?
for single.
Okay.
And I have to cheat approximately $48,000 for a married couple.
That's assets.
That's assets.
Okay.
Now, income group, it depends, quite frankly, which level of the program you would get onto.
Okay.
But it would be approximately $2,200 for one of the levels of our program for income guidelines. And then there is no income limit for the other level of the program. So it depends, really.
Okay, all right, very good. So there's quite a few people that can get on this program.
There's quite a few people that can get on this program, absolutely. And if you're not eligible initially, then we would work with you to find somebody who could help meet those needs temporarily while you're pending the home care program.
Okay.
Maybe like the respite care program, the National Family Caregiver Support Program.
Okay, which are all run out of our office.
Yep. We could make those connections for you. And then, once you are eligible, then we can resume the process again.
Okay, so the process starts, Carla, if I understand right. One of your staff goes out to visit, makes an appointment, goes out to visit the client and their family?
Sure. So there's a step before that. So when the referral comes in from another social worker or family member, it actually is screened by the Department of Social Services first.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, they would determine that the client seemingly is eligible for the program. And if they are, then we get the referral.
Okay.
We would assign it to a care manager, and then they would go out and do the home visit with the family and the individual.
All right. So if somebody is listening out there and they are having a lot of difficulty at home, even if they don't have a referral, they can call the number that's on the screen, and you would go from there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
And we would work with them at that point to not only do the assessment, but any required paperwork that the state may need following that assessment to help get them approved for the program.
So you do all the paperwork involved?
We do all of the paperwork. We are almost a liaison, if you will.
Okay, great.
So we don't make the determination upon somebody's eligibility. That would be the Department of Social Services.
Okay.
But we would assist the family in getting everything submitted.
Now, do you do Title 19 applications?
We do.
You do?
We do.
Oh my God.
And
I
once
wasn't
you're on
aware
the
of that.
program, we help with the redetermination. Certainly, we're always promoting self-autonomy. So, we provide assistance if possible. But we want to make sure that everybody that's eligible becomes eligible and can get the services that they need. So we will provide whatever support necessary.
Okay, so what services would you put in place for an individual? Let's say my father has had hip surgery, he's 85 years old, he's having a hard time bathing himself, obviously, because of the hip surgery, and he really can't walk.
Well, there's quite a few other things that we want to take into consideration. So it's really hard for me to sit there and develop a care plan with you based off of that information. But, certainly we develop a care plan focused around the needs, but we want to make sure that it's meeting the needs of the family as well, and that it's client-centered, it's person-centered. So somebody is declining a service that we can provide for them, that's their right to do so. So that has a lot of influence on the care plan that ultimately becomes approved. Okay. With that said, some of the services that we can provide are companionship, homemaking for light housework, laundry, dishes, that kind of thing. Personal care assistance when somebody needs hands-on care, they need some bathing.
How about medication?
We could do medication prompting. We could have, like I said, skilled nursing, home health aides, the therapies. In addition, we could do adult daycare services. We could do chronic disease self-management programs if somebody had a chronic disease that they wanted to help learn how to manage that better.
Like diabetes?
Diabetes, yep. Any type of chronic disease, really. Transportation services, emergency response systems, Meals on Wheels we can provide. We can provide transportation, care transitions. There's quite a bit that we can cover. Bill payer.
Oh, bill payer too.
Bill payer we can do.
Can I hand my bills over to you? Oh my goodness, that really is a lot that your program does.
It is a lot. It is a lot. And again, it's all supposed to be designed around the individual that needs those services. So there's just so many different kinds of care plans that we have.
Wow, now, what area do you serve?
Our home care program administered through the Agency on Aging only covers the Waterbury area.
Okay.
The program itself, however, is statewide. So if you did live outside of Waterbury, you could access Connecticut Community Care, the Area Agency on Aging of Southwestern Connecticut, and the Agency on Aging in South Central Connecticut.
Okay.
Those would be the other agencies that would cover the home care program.
Okay. Well, and they cover the whole state.
They cover, between all of us, we cover the whole state.
I'm sure with the baby boomers aging, are you finding more and more clients need your help?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's sad because I'm one of the, I hate to give this away, but I'm one of those baby boomers, and it's like lately everything is starting to hurt and like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah, well, you know, my word to the wise would be to not wait until you're in a crisis situation. A lot of the time, some of the referrals come through and they need services right away, and it's really difficult to get the home care program approved in such a short notice. So again, we would have to look for other resources to help families access those services immediately during that crisis situation. And then oftentimes, once the crisis has been stabilized, then they get approved for the home care program. So, you know, I would, if you're nearing the age and you're looking into it, or you think it might be in your near future, my recommendation would be to look into it and see what would be available to you now before that crisis situation happens. As I also mentioned too, a lot of our referrals come from hospitals and skilled nursing facilities, because most often those family members have been admitted for one reason or another,
Right.
and that's where individuals are identified as having needs and needing in-home supports.
Okay, I can
so you want to
understand
prevent that.
Prevent that, yeah, because a lot of people that are coming from a skilled nursing facility have been there for 3 weeks you know, for the rehab,
Yeah.
and yet they're not really well enough to take care of themselves at home, and this is where your
Yeah.
program would step in to help out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So yeah, and Medicare would usually pick up
20
when they
days.
come home,
Yep.
and then we could step in and hope, you know, if we had the program approved by that point, we could step in.
Okay, so each individual on the program has their own care manager.
Yes.
That's theirs alone, and
That's
they're
theirs
not
alone. Yeah.
And so they can, if they're not happy with the service or they're not happy with an aide or something like that, they would contact their care manager.
They would. And, you know, again, focusing on person-centered care planning, we definitely want to make sure that we're utilizing providers that they select,
Okay.
you know, and aides that they, you know, prefer to use.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. I just want to remind the audience that we are here with Carla Gilbode, and she is the director of the Connecticut Home Care Program, and we're really happy to have her talking about care at home, you know, when you need it, and she's always there to help. She has a large staff, so she keeps her pretty busy. Are there co-pays to this program, Carla?
There can be fees associated, and again, that depends really on the level of the program that somebody would become approved. If somebody is on Medicaid, generally speaking, there are no fees unless they have a higher income. And the fees associated with that would be purely based on a sliding scale based on the income. If a person is approved for the state-funded portion of the program, then they would be responsible for a 9% copay, and that 9% copay would be 9% on the total cost of their budget that we develop together.
Okay, so you develop a budget with the client
Yes.
and their family to see what it is that they can pay.
Yeah.
What about people that are over income, you know, that have more assets than what you mentioned? I think you said 48,000 and 20. What was the other figure? 20.
Well, I gave a general figure of about 48,000
For a couple.
For a couple, yes. If they're over that, we could make the recommendation for a different program temporarily, but ultimately they would need to spend down those assets until they became eligible. At that point, we could go ahead and make the referral to the program and initiate the process.
Okay. Now, how many?
They could also private pay for those services
they could?
intermittently until they spent down to that
So
level.
they could. That's what I was wondering. So they could private pay, because a lot of times people have trouble getting their own care plan together with what they have to do and things like that. So this
Yeah.
is something you could do, but they would pay privately.
Right. We'll guide them in the right direction, but ultimately they would, contact providers and whatnot, and let them know that they can contact us when they reach that threshold.
So this is where the assessment comes into place when you go out and they visit the client, and this way here they can let them know what direction that they can go in.
Yeah, seemingly they would be eligible by the time we came out to do the assessment, but if the assets were not spent down to that threshold, we would not receive the referral because the Department of Social Services would let them know that they are not eligible at that moment.
Okay, then you would refer them to other
Correct.
agencies or other services within our
Yes.
own agency. Oh, very, very interesting. And for more information, we have the number running along the bottom of the screen, so you can call there. Can they apply for this over the internet? Is this something they can do?
They can. It's preferred. If they wanted to refer themselves to the home care program for elders, they can call 1-800-445-5394 and select option 4.
Okay, let's repeat that number
Sure.
slow.
1-800-445-5394, option 4. That would be the call-in number, or they can go online, and that website,
Yeah.
I'm going to cheat, is www.ascend, that's ASCENDAMI.com/CT home care for elders.
Oh my God.
/default.
Okay.
It's easier to call us.
I was just going to say you could call them, but you can't apply. You can find the application.
You can, and you can Google it. If you go online, you can see it very
Just
easy.
put
And
the
there's a
Connecticut
link.
Home Care Program.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I did get some information off the internet. You just type in Connecticut Home Care Program, and all kinds of information comes out. And so the application is there if
The
somebody wants to
application is
get.
there. The information is very easy. You need to have all of the information, all of the financials, all of the demographic information, address, date of birth, social security number. You need to have all of that information before making the referral to be accepted.
Okay, and if they are on Medicaid, you need their
You
Medicaid.
would need the Medicaid number as well.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. There was one thing that slipped my mind now. Oh, how many hours of service can they get?
That's a very broad question.
That's a broad. Yeah, I like those broad questions.
It really depends, again, on what the needs are, what the family's needs are, what kind of supports the individual has currently. Do they have a lot of children that are helping out? Do they have a lot of neighbors? Do they live alone in their private home? Do they live in an elderly community, senior housing? It really depends on what kind of supports the client has and what the needs are, and the level of the program.
Okay. So you're going to find some people that are living alone in senior housing, and then some people that are living in their own home, or they're living with their children.
Yeah.
And then sometimes would you find someone where it's a husband and wife, so the wife, let's say the wife is the caregiver, so this would help her out also.
Absolutely.
Okay, because there's so much you read about caregiver burnout because it's such a big job. So this is where your program would come in to help out that caregiver.
Yes.
So that's really important. So, but I know there are a lot.
And she could be on the program too.
Oh, she can be on the program.
She could be on the program. If she qualified and had the needs, and she met the same criteria, we do have several married couples
that are on the program. So, well, it's a great program because it tries to keep the individual at home and not in a nursing home.
That's the goal.
And to be independent for themselves. And like you say, it provides Meals on Wheels if they need it. And this is just for the Waterbury area that you take care of.
Yeah.
Okay. But
the program is the same across the state.
The program is the same. Okay. Even those other two agencies serve all the other towns in Connecticut.
Yep. The financial and functional criteria to be eligible is exactly the same.
Okay.
It's just administered in a different location.
Okay, very good. So how long have you been the care manager? How long has the home care program been at the agency? Do you know?
Since July 1st of 2013.
2013.
I've been there since 2008, much longer than the program.
2008, yeah. So, well, there's so much to this program. It's tough to stay on top of all the changes. And you said the rates change again every year?
They do. They usually increase slightly.
And the asset
but don't
limits.
Quote me.
And the asset limits go up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. I know I've heard some of the care managers, because I work up at the agency. I do the Medicare fraud, and I also do choices. But I do hear some of the caregivers talking to some of their clients, and I was telling Carla before the program, they have the patience of an angel when they are talking to seniors or anyone, any individual over the age of 65. They are so wonderful. You really have a wonderful, wonderful staff. They're all so nice, and I think that's what makes it important too, because their contact, that's their contact person. And when they have someone that's truly understanding what their needs are, it makes all the difference in the world.
It's a very difficult system to navigate, and so, you know, we want to try to make that as easy as possible for them.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. So, but there are, again, what are the services that they have to, not the services, they have to be eligible for the program. They have to have one. They cannot be able to feed themselves or toileting.
Oh, yes, they need to have. They need help with bathing, dressing, toileting, mobility, meal preparations, transferring, toileting.
Okay. Now, let's say they need a hospital bed. Is that something, because I know Medicare will pay, if it's medically necessary, will pay for a hospital bed. Is this something that the care managers would arrange for
Medicare
people?
would be the primary payer source, and we would assist.
In getting that.
I said Medicare, right? Yes.
Medicare
would be the primary payer source at that point, yes. If they weren't eligible, we would help find you know, small funds townwide or volunteer group. We would do what we would need to do to help the family.
Okay, what if they needed a ramp? I know this is out of the realm, but I just thought I would throw that in.
Well, depending on the current care plan that they developed with the care manager, that could be a cost that we could actually cover within our care plan through the program itself. Okay. If it wasn't, then we would look for other in-kind type of supports to help have that installed.
Okay, because I know we have supplemental services at the agency, and that helps pay for the ramp too?
It can cover a portion of the cost, yeah.
A portion of the cost. So you are working within the Western Connecticut Agency on Aging with other groups in the agency. The other day we had Jessica Warner on from the respite care.
Yes.
So you also will work with her if you find a client isn't suited for your program.
Yes. You could not be on both at the same time.
Oh, you cannot be on both?
You cannot, but we would definitely work together to make sure that there weren't gaps in services.
Okay. And is there a waiting list for your program?
There is not.
Oh, that's a nice site. That's good to know. I know there's a lot of programs I know in the state of Connecticut where you know, there's a waiting list for it. So that's good to know. Yes. Any unusual circumstances you'd like to share with us?
Oh my goodness, we've seen it all. I don't know if I can think of one off the top of my head, but you know, we have a team approach at our agency, and you know, if your care manager didn't know the answer or didn't know where to turn or hit a dead end in trying to help you, we all pitch in and we all, you know, pool together our resources and our connections, and we work very well to try to meet the needs of our consumers.
Yeah, well, like I said, I can tell with the care manager that's what you do. Yeah. So, but you know, Carla, this has been very informative, and you know, like I said, if anyone needs the home care program, call the number on the bottom of the screen if you'd want to get more information. Carla has many supervisors and assistants. She needs them, and especially she just had a new baby. And what's his name?
His name is Joshua.
Joshua, and she was so thrilled to have him, and we are so happy to have Carla at our agency. She really is a delight. She's done a great job with the staff. Like I said, I cannot believe the staff that you have hired. They are just phenomenal.
Thank you.
They really are great. And I really appreciate you being on our show, and I would like to thank you and also our guests, our audience, for watching our show, Working Together with the Western Connecticut Agency on Aging. Together we can help you with many programs available to keep you or your loved ones independent and home. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.